Well, tonight we're learning more about the Supreme Court's ruling that says Americans can once again use bump stocks, devices that essentially allow shooters to fire semi-automatic rifles continuously with one pull of the trigger.
The devices were banned following the aftermath of the 2017 Las Vegas mass shooting. And Chief Investigative Reporter Sam Smink is breaking down today's ruling and what it could mean for Connecticut. Sam.
Stephanie, Irene, well, this ruling doesn't affect Connecticut state law at all. Assault weapons and bump stocks are still illegal here and will remain that way. But that didn't stop our top lawmakers from weighing in on what they call a dangerous decision.
This bump stock decision by the United States Supreme Court is just crazy.
Senator Richard Blumenthal is putting it bluntly. He disagrees with the Supreme Court decision that found the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives overstepped its authority when it banned bump stocks.
This decision is crazy because it legalizes machine guns.
Bump stocks were banned in 2017 after Stephen Paddock opened fire on a country concert in Las Vegas, killing 58 people and injuring 500 others. Police say he had attached a bump stock to his rifle. ATF banned the device in response, saying rifles equipped with bump stocks should fall under the legal definition of machine guns, which had been banned already for decades. Now the Supreme Court has ruled that bump stock attachments do not convert semi-automatic rifles into machine guns. Therefore, they are no longer illegal.
Striking down the ban on bump stocks means criminals and other lawbreakers will be free to make their weapons even more lethal.
The decision will not affect Connecticut. Assault weapons and bump stocks will remain illegal under state law. Still, Governor Ned Lamont called the ruling a terrible decision, saying in part, this is the exact reason why we need Congress to enact strong federal laws to prevent gun violence, including mass shooting. Attorney General William Tong joining in, saying in part, this disappointing decision is a serious threat to public safety. Bump stocks, however you define them, are dangerous. The Connecticut Citizens Defense League applauded SCOTUS' decision, saying in part, if the people of Connecticut want a real conversation about firearm policies aimed at actually curbing violence, ideological anti-gun politicians must stop misnomering commonly owned civilian firearms and misrepresenting easily ascertainable facts, as they are wont to do in the state.
To read their full statements, please head to our website. Sam Smink, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.